Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Live with Purpose podcast. Today, I am here with the most special guest that will ever come on this podcast, my beautiful, amazing mother. She's my best friend, and I can't wait for you guys to hear from her. She's going to be speaking at the retreat that I'm planning and that we're really planning together. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her, get a preview of some of the knowledge and the amazingness that you're going to hear on the retreat if you get a chance to join us. So, Mom, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm a systems engineer. Which is really weird because I'm also a life coach, and those two usually don't seem like they go together, but they very much do because I'm in a leadership role in my system engineering, and I find it just amazing to be able to do the life coaching as a part of a STEM program. So that's me.
I love that. And I think that's so cool because I hear my mom tell all these stories about how she'll like mentor different people. Like throughout her career, she's just been mentoring different people. So to now see it's manifesting itself into life coaching is so amazing and so cool to see. And it's been awesome for me to watch her just go through that process. So before we get too much into her talking about all the amazing things she has to share, let's get into two truths and a lie. So go ahead, Mom. What are your two truths and a lie?
So the two truths and a lie are I'm 5'4" and I have two children who are almost 6 feet tall, which seems a little interesting. Um, I graduated from Virginia Tech, and the third one is um, I enjoy cooking.
Okay, this is cheating because I super know these. So it's so I'll tell stories about them then. So the lie is that she graduated from Virginia Tech. So that's something that me and my mom share is that, and I didn't know we shared that until it was happening to me. So that's the great thing about having really deep conversations with your parents is that you learn more about them. You're like, okay, so I'm not crazy, or okay, like someone I love and look up to has gone through this. So mom started her college career, as it were, at Virginia Tech, but she graduated from Old Dominion. So we both have
Yeah,
that. I started one place, God redirected me, and now I graduated somewhere else. So that's the lie. And the true part about cooking, my mom is an amazing cook. Literally, I aspire to provide for a family and the way my mom has in the realm of cooking. It's a tall order to fill, but one day hopefully I'll get there. And then the children who are almost 6 feet tall, me and my sister are both 5'10", 5'11". Our dad is 6'1", and my brother is five. What is Picard? 5'9",
five, 5'8".
5'8", 5'9". And so it's a good mix of height in our family. But yeah, it's really funny and it's a really cute thing. I love seeing pictures of us because I think it's really funny and confuses people height wise. What really went on? How did that happen? But yeah,
And your
so thank you
brother,
for sharing those,
and
Mom.
your brother is the
Go ahead,
oldest.
Ma.
And your brother is the
Yeah,
oldest.
my brother's the oldest. I'm the youngest. So it's again interesting in
Yeah,
pictures
well,
to see us all together. Okay, Ma. So now that you know a little bit about Mom, two truths and a lie, we're gonna get into really just like the interview portion again, more about her purpose and what she has to share with you all. So, Mom, what would you say if you could describe it in like a sentence or two? What would you say your purpose is?
um, so I feel like my purpose is to make sure that people that are younger, your age, in their 30s, really take the time to know themselves and see how they represent themselves so that they can move forward. Because it's very important that you see what people see when they look at you if you're going to try to advance. Um, I guess I do more leadership coaching, people who are trying to become leaders, people who are at the bottom of the leadership thing and trying to advance, those kinds of things. So that becomes extremely important to be able to develop within yourself and know yourself so that you can lead effectively.
So, what led you to understanding that that was like what your purpose is, or that's really what you wanted to continue to do?
don't know that you know this story. Um,
Ooh.
so I had taken a job with somebody that was a friend. She gave me a job, and I did not like it. And so I did all anytime I could go to a class or go do something, I'd do it. So they offered me coaching because of where I was grade wise in the government. They decided I needed leadership coaching. I was like, fine, because it got me out of work transparently. So I started coaching with this lady, and I started to realize how much I did not really know myself. And through they give you eight, 6 or 8 sessions, and around the seventh session, she said to me, "You would be a great coach," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then I thought about that, and I asked her, "How do you become?" And she said, "Oh, it's $10,000. You got to do this." I was like, "Yeah, okay, not doing that." And then she said she called me back afterwards and said that the job was offering coaching classes. So I took the coaching classes. I met incredible people. Oh my gosh. And it just formed as just such a heart desire at that point. At that point, I started to realize that because I was in the class with a bunch of really high level leaders, and which was really weird because I couldn't figure out why I was there. But God has a plan. He always has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I went in there, and I just loved it. I loved the fact that all of these high level leaders were people, and they were all concerned with how they appeared to the employees, their subordinates. They were also concerned with giving those subordinates, as they were, the best of them, and to help them grow into effective leaders. And I just said, this is my life. This is what I'd like to do. I want to reach out to junior level people and really help them become to the greatness that I know is in all of them. And so it just became a thing. It just and
Yeah.
it's just the most amazing thing. It's the thing. I mean, this is that thing that you would do and not get paid for. You know, this is
Mm-hmm.
that job that everybody wants. That you can't wait to go. You can't wait to talk to people. It's just my heart. It really is.
Yeah. And I think what's so beautiful is like, even through that story, I know that it's always been your heart. You know, even when I was growing up and you were YPD, she was youth director at our church. I was going to say what they called it at our church, but they called it YPD director. But she was directing youths and like really helping us grow and get to know ourselves. And that was something she did when I was literally a
Yeah.
child. And then even now, like even not even now, before these classes even happen, mom has like taken people under her wing at work and like really helped them develop and see their path and see where they could go and where they could grow to. And so I think it's so cool that like the coaching classes just like revealed what you kind of already knew, and what was kind of already happening. And again, in the context of community, I think that's so cool that it's like you're like, I'm around these women and they're really challenging me and really growing me and allowing me to see more of who I am. And I think that's so beautiful and so cool.
Yeah, it's when I look back on it, to go to your next question, when I look back on it, I do believe that I've always done it. It's always been my heart to help people move forward and move up. Um, I have never been that person who was all about me and I my next thing. It's always been how can we move forward, and that's how um, it has shown itself to me now. It's is and even when I talk, I always go we, and I thought about that. It's interesting how you start to realize, once you realize what your what your heart is, what God has put in your heart, and how you want to move forward. Once you realize that, it becomes all encompassing. It's not even when I'm coaching, it's when I'm working, it's when I'm living, it's when I'm talking to my children, it's in the grocery store when somebody decides to stop me and we talk about watermelons and how do you tell when it's ripe. You really, it's just a way of life. It's not even a job anymore. um the hardest part about this coaching life, though, is charging for it, right?
Mm.
So, because my heart is there, I just want to help everybody. And a part of the classes that we're taking is they tell you have to you have to eat, you have to charge for it. you, you
Mhm.
know, and so I'm working on that piece, because as long as I'm still working, um, people get the service for free. Um, and even when I retire, um, it's probably not going to be the cost that you would normally pay a coach. All of that comes together in my brain, trying to figure out what are my next steps, what are the things
Mm.
that I can use this for, because wherever I
Mm.
go, it's just who I am. And that's the interesting
Yeah.
part, is that you find your purpose as you look into, well, God, what have you called me to? Um, I'm gonna digress a little bit. When I first got saved, I was in a choir at Virginia Tech called Harambe. Harambe still lives and breathes at Virginia Tech. Thank you, God. Anyway, it was brand new back then, and the choir director said, and I was an engineering major. The choir director said to all of us, uh, how is what you're doing going to serve God? What are you doing? What is it that you're doing that serves God? And it bothered me for many years because, I mean, I build boxes, I work on computers. How's that serving God? Um, and now, lo, these many years later, I noticed that serving God is serving people, right? And
Mm.
so people are in engineering. STEM people have some unique personalities. And so helping them to see how others see them, helping them to understand that you can't talk, about frequencies and all of that to somebody who really just wants to push the button and have it happen for them, is and seeing how they represent is all serving God, because um, I think about the Tower of Babel, right? And all those different
Mm.
languages. When you think about all the different languages that we speak, all of them are called English, but you don't understand each other, right? Um, if you understand that you're not being understood, then you can adjust your language so that your neighbor now is blessed by what you're doing. So
Mm.
all of that kind of rolls into. I know that was a long story. Sorry, y'all. It was
No, I loved it. Perfect.
um, all of that rolls into, what is your purpose? My purpose is to
Mm.
is to make sure that you guys understand who you are and how people see you, and have you make an informed decision about how you want to be seen and who you want to be, not
Mm.
the stereotypical, she's tall, she's short, or whatever, right? No, she came from here, so she's got to be this kind of person. She came from there, so it's that kind of person. She's got money, she don't have money, whatever, right? Um, who do you want to be? That's the most important thing, is seeing who you are,
Mm.
understanding who you are, and figuring out who you want to be.
Hmm.
So that's
That was powerful. That was good, Mom. So, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to decide how do I want to present myself? Like, how do I want to show up in the world?
I think the first thing to do, um, I'll tell you what happened again, what happened to me. I love where I work in terms of my personal growth. I could make noises about the way we professionally work, but for me and my personal growth, I took some tests, the personality tests, and there's a million of them, so you can pick the one you're enjoying. Um, and um, really look at what the characteristics are in those. I mean, you can take, there's one called strengths, there's one called positive intelligence, there's the DISC test, there's name a test. Um, but read those things. Now, they're generalized. Whatever you get back is generalized. But pick out those things that are really just a part of your DNA, of how you appear, right? Look at, oh my goodness, right? I'm a hyperachiever. I got to get it done. I got to be right. Well, it's good that you want to be right. It really is. However, karma, when right is the main thing, that becomes a problem. So start looking
Mm-hmm.
at, if you don't, there are books out there. There's all kinds of ways to get started. Um, Coaching will help you work through and manage yourself. It doesn't help you manage the people next door and your boss who's on your nerves. But you get to understand and identify even others who have those characteristics, and then you can adjust how you deal with that person. So there are these personality tests, there are books, there's all kinds of stuff. Um, I'm not pushing anybody to coaching. However, that worked very well for me because it allowed me to talk through what I was going through. Some people are good with journaling, but you kind of get in your own head. If you have another person who is not there to tell you what to do, but there to help you work through it and have you see it from all sides, or at least multiple sides, that's really good. So I do recommend coaching for people, but
Yeah.
I think the first step is to figure out you, and and like I said, there are a bunch of tests online that you can just go to and start there.
I'm thinking to myself, there are a lot of us who, especially who are around my age, like millennials, especially, who sometimes we're like, I have learned all the things I need to learn. Can I move on? Like, you know what I mean? So I want to know, what advice would you give to someone who says, ma'am, I have 2.5 degrees. I have 1.5 degrees. I have an A degree because that's what they told me I had to do. And you telling me I need to learn more? You're telling me I need to study more? Like, that's annoying. What advice or what would you say to someone like that? Because I know myself, I have found myself in that boat of I need to keep learning what? I thought these degrees were going to cover that. Like, what would you say to someone like that?
So think of your degrees as outward learning. What I'm suggesting
Hmm.
is inward learning. Who are you? What is important to you? What makes you tick? What annoys you? And how do and you know what does my heart say? I think more than anything else, it's what your heart says. So people get annoyed at people like, I don't like that he did whatever, whatever, right? So why? Why don't you like that? So I'm not asking you to go read six more books. I'm not asking you to go to class. I'm asking you to examine yourself and figure out what it is about that thing that annoys you. Is it he thinks he's better than me or whatever? Whatever your issue is. Why do you, is that him thinking that, or is that you? Because what we do is
Mm,
when we get upset about somebody, we put it on somebody. You did this, you did that. Well, be clear, y'all. He didn't know he did it. And if he did, he don't care. And you're the only one upset. So let's
mm,
figure out how we keep ourselves straight. If you spend your time keeping you straight, you ain't got enough time to be messing in somebody else's mess, right? Because everybody got mess.
mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, everybody got mess. Plenty of mess out there. You know, even the word tells you there's mess. Not in those words, right? But um, there's stuff out there. Life is just not perfect. And so
Yeah.
figuring yourself out and how you appear in the mess. Like, okay, I know this is mess. Let me put it aside. Once you can identify it, you can make it go. It doesn't go away. You move it over, but you know what it is. If you, it's not a thing of I like to sit in this mess and enjoy it. You go, oh, that's mess. Yeah, that's not the way I want to react to this situation. And then you,
Mm,
because inside of you is this wonderful, smart, intuitive person who will look at that mess, put that mess aside, and said, I'm not dealing with the mess. I'm going to do it this way because it's less mess, right? I don't want to get in mess, you know, because we watch the housewives and all their mess and all of them, this mess, right? So how when you're looking at that sometimes, so for because we all like a little bit of messy, that's a guilty pleasure, right? Um, Look at that and think how, if that were me, how would I better have handled that,
mm,
right? So even in your day to day, just think about, you know, if what would one of the things they say in coaching is your sage, like your sage self. What would my smarter sage self say? Smarter,
mm,
not being intellectually smart, but my grandmother, right? What good
mm-hmm.
advice would she give me in this situation? This is this is not going to school to learn um, philosophy. This is looking in yourself and starting to feel what's inside. What is that really goodness that's in you? And for Christians, what would God, what would Jesus do? That was this big thing a long
Mm-hmm.
time ago. I don't know that I subscribe to what would Jesus do. But if Jesus is in you, what would Jesus do? Right?
Mm,
And when I say I don't subscribe, I don't sit back and read the word and say, oh, well, Jesus would do this or that. It's more that I believe this Holy Spirit is in me, and the Holy Spirit is telling me how to live my life if I listen. But sometimes you get angry, so you're not listening. Sometimes you just want to do what you want to do, so you're not listening. So just, take a moment, center yourself, and say, okay, God, how do I handle this?
mm.
So I forgot the question.
That's good advice, Mom. No, that was good. That was good. You answered it very well. So my last question I have for you is kind of personally about you. So you are I want to call you are of a certain age,
Yeah, a woman of a
Mom.
certain age. That's how you say that.
And you're still pursuing purpose and you still know that God has more for you. And I think that's so beautiful to see because so often when people get to a certain age, they're just like, well, that's it. Time to pack it up. Like I've done, there's nothing else God has for me here. Or they think they know everything or they think there's nothing else to learn. So I want to ask you how do you keep going and knowing that there's more in store? And what advice would you give to someone who feels like there's no more in store? Because people my age even feel that, like, well, I've peaked. You know what I mean? What advice would you give to someone who feels like they've peaked even?
Oh, you wouldn't be living if you didn't have more purpose. If God didn't have something else for you to do, why would you be here? He's not a frivolous guy.
Mm,
Start there.
mm,
But I will tell you that prior to getting into this whole coaching thing, I had thought, I had a plan, y'all. Yeah. God laughed. I had a plan that I was just going to retire and move actually to North Carolina in the backwoods back there, on a little dirt road and a little house, and just have a garden and enjoy my life until I died. I might work a little bit at the church, but basically I was going to chill. I'm done. Um, what I think changed was this knowledge that I could provide something to somebody.
mm,
I could, um, I don't know that a lot of people are going to listen to me, but even if I can help one or two people to rise higher, that's so worth it. That is so worth
mm,
it. It's um it's not something I set out to do because I didn't go to school kind of guy. You know, if you don't go to I don't go to school unless I go to school with purpose, right? I can't be
mhm,
doing all of that. I ain't trying to get all them certifications and all that. I ain't gonna lie. I just want to move people forward, and when that became, I believe that God put that in my heart. When you talk about purpose, real purpose, it's what purpose that God put in your heart. Because we all going to get jobs and we can go and do things, and those are good things. Nothing wrong with that. But purpose, when God says, I need you to do this for me, it becomes a lifelong commitment. I have
mm.
been saved since longer than I want to tell y'all. 1979, I got
Wow.
saved. And we're talking like the last few years, like the last 3 or 4 years, that I've really felt like, and even I guess the last couple of years, it's when I felt like this was purpose. Um,
Mm,
and so I kind of stumbled around. Um, I did great. I did good things. I had a good career. I had a good run. I had a couple of wonderful kids, couple three. All three of them are wonderful. Um, have wonderful grandchildren, and I had life. But God's purpose is different than just saying I'm doing something, right?
mm,
When you get that, and it's not always um, apparent um, what that purpose is as you're coming through. But what I believe is, as you said at the beginning of this, is you're always walking, as long as you're walking in God, with God, mm, God's walking in front of you and you're being led by God, um, purpose is happening. You may not recognize it, but purpose is happening. So all these left turns and right turns that you make, um, it's not a function of I'm not in my purpose. God's teaching you something over here, or having you meet somebody that you're going to need later over there, or um, so it's a trust, it's a faith walk at all times, right? Um, I might not know because I went down some roads, like I was telling you that I took the job with this lady and I hated it. You have no idea how long me and God had some conversations about that. I was like, no, God, you told me to come here. This is the worst thing you've ever done, God. Right. But had that not happened, I would not have taken the coaching class. I would not have been, I would not have known purpose coming, bringing it
mm,
back. of where God had me to go. So you just don't know. If you trust God, you walk with God, and you got to figure, okay, this is something I'm supposed to get out of this.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing all that with me, Mommy, and with us. I said me because I feel like you were speaking directly to me, a lot of it. But I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to hear it and definitely grow from it and feel it. And so the last question I want to ask you, Ma, is what's a topic outside of your work that you're really passionate about?
Um, so we talked about this earlier, and I think cooking in my kitchen is my life. I'm a foodie. I like to taste the food and try to figure out what's in it at a restaurant and come home and try to duplicate it. Um, I got my kitchen done, so I now have all the toys that I can possibly use. So it is cooking. It is cooking.
No, it's so cute. When we go out to eat, my dad will be like, "Mom, you can make this," and then she'll come home and she will indeed know how to make it. It's really funny. It's really cool, and I think my love for like cooking shows and stuff started because of Mom too. So I love that about her, and I think that's so fun. And it's a way just to have fun with food and have fun with a daily thing that you have to do, which is eat. So you might as well make it fun. You might as well find ways to remix it and have fun with it. But Mom, I just thank you so much for being here. I'm emotional because I think this podcast is really going to touch some people, and it's really going to allow people to really see themselves differently and start to think deeper about who they are and who God has called them to be and what God has even called them to. So I'm thankful for you for being here. If you guys loved this and you want to join our women's retreat, highly recommend it. You can go to lisaksatchell.com/retreat and it'll be up there. You can join us, learn more about it, all that good stuff. But this is only a sample of what I know Mom is going to bring the house down with. And as you can tell, she is a woman of God, all up in her, all through her. He was speaking. So I can't wait to hear what will come out of her for the retreat and what the environment will really be like when we get to the retreat. So again, if you want to join us on the retreat, go to lisaksatchell.com/retreat. And I hope you've been enjoying this podcast. This is the Live with Purpose podcast. Remember, as long as you are alive, you have purpose. You can follow us at Live with Purpose Pod on Instagram. You can follow me at Lisa K. Satchell on Instagram. Stay tuned for when Mom's Instagram launches. We're working on that. We're developing all of that. And you guys can keep up with me and soon keep up with her. So we appreciate you guys for listening. Bye!